Hello, good people of YouTube. Today we're going to be going over the second impression review for the new Tier 9 Premium German supercruiser Siegfried. So, the Siegfried, it is a fun ship. I will admit that. It is a fun ship. It is a good ship in my opinion, but it does have its downsides. And it has a lot of really big upsides, but its downsides are also pretty significant as well. So, in terms of hull and armor and survivability, it is exactly the same as the Agir, which is pretty damn decent. It's got turtleback armor on a supercruiser, so that means while you won't be eating a whole lot of citadels, you will be eating plenty of pins. If you're used to playing German battleships or even German cruisers, you know what I'm talking about. You will rarely eat big damage, unless you are just broadside on to, a battleship or a wall of torpedoes, but you will get chunked pretty often. And yes, it does have a 27mm bow with no type of icebreaker bow or anything like that. And, I mean, if you angle your armor right, people will of course try to shoot your side, and you'll laugh as you ricochet 16-inch shells off of your side armor, or even Yammy's shells as well off your side armor. And with this cruiser, it's pretty maneuverable. I don't have any rudder modifications on it or anything like that, so it's pretty maneuverable. I'm using the same build that I used in my first impressions video as far as modules go. I now have a full secondary build except for manual fire for secondaries. I am probably going to go with something else, but right now I have everything except for manual fire for secondaries. So in that regards, it's pretty much the same build. And manual fire for secondaries didn't make a big enough difference to warrant the skills required, the skill points required to have it on. So I just got rid of it, and secondaries, they just shoot whatever they want now. And honestly, that works out better in the case of this ship. In the case of all the other secondary builds that I do on like the German battleships and on the Massachusetts, Georgia, and Ohio, I do think that manual fire is definitely worth the investment on those ships. But on Siegfried, no. Alright, so the biggest up and the biggest down is of course the main battery guns of the Siegfried. You have 6 15-inch guns. That is some battleship caliber guns on a supercruiser. And they have cruiser dispersion. And my god, it's fantastic. It's fantastic because you can slap the living crap out of cruisers with this ship. And it's great. It is really, really, really great when that works. Because the thing with the Siegfried, and I mentioned this in the cross-shot video, that, Siegfried, you either slap the crap out of them or you overpin them. And honestly, you get a good, decent few overpins with the Siegfried. But if you know how to aim, if you've played this game for a while, you can make it work for you more often than not. And yeah, it's fantastic. Now, the dispersion is still wonky at times. You get those shots where the shells just kind of fly out and go wherever the heck they want to go. And, it hurts really, really, really hard on any ship with only 6 guns when that happens, and even more so on the Siegfried. And, salvos like that, they aren't exactly rare, but it's not like German battleships where like every other salvo is like that. For the most part, the shells are pretty accurate. But again, you will be getting a fair few overpins when you play the ship. And, that's the trade-off. Because, again, you have the ability to slap the crap out of cruisers. And you can even citadel battleships in the Siegfried, and it's kind of funny. Also, for those of you that don't know, the Siegfried can overmatch the bow armor of the Slava whenever that thing comes out. In the current build of the Slava with the 25mm bow, Siegfried can overmatch that. It's hilarious. So, anyway, the rest of the Siegfried. The torpedoes, very useful. Again, I don't ever purposely try to use the torpedoes, but when you can use them, it's great. I mean, it's great. It's a good brawler in regards to that. Again, the bow armor kind of sucks for that. But again, you can go into those situations with the Siegfried knowing that, I could use my torpedoes to get myself out of the situation. And it works. It works really, really, really well. Um, the AA on it, it's decent. It's not fantastic. It's not terrible. It's decent. It's German AA. German AA for the most part is fairly decent because most of the German ships, the battleships for sure, you're going to build into the secondaries, which boosts the AA. The Siegfried, you're going to build into the secondaries, which again boosts the AA. So it's pretty decent. Nothing great, nothing terrible. Now it does get a fighter plane or spotter plane over the gear, which doesn't get that. So I mean, you could go spotter plane on this ship, and it would work out fine just because of the dispersion. I still have my Mimi kind of secondary build on it, so I don't have a spotter plane on it just yet, but it could 100% work with the dispersion on this ship. Now the big question is, of course, is the Siegfried worth all the time you have to invest or money you have to invest in it to get it? Honestly, unless you're just really in love with the ship, and from what you've seen around the internet, probably not, because unless you've gotten everything that you want in this game, you're going to have to spend a lot of time regrinding lines in order to get to the Siegfried. I was fortunate enough that I had enough free XP and enough leftover Research Bureau points from the Ohio that I could get the Siegfried pretty pain-free. The average player, of course, isn't going to have that. Pickles is regrinding the Pan-Euro DD lines in order to get the Siegfried, and, well, it's pretty painful, I gotta admit. I can't imagine regrinding lines on ships that you've grinded already is fun. Now, of course, you could, regrind halfway through, then pay $100 and something to convert the XP, or to get it. Sure, you could, but then you're still spending $100 on a digital item. And, a gear, at least they give you the option of free XPing her, which is much less painful to grind, or just paying $77 in the premium shop to get her. And honestly, a gear is probably the better choice for most players because the guns are much more consistent. You're guaranteed to do better, more damage in it consistently, because the gear, the Siegfried, the 15-inch guns, once you meet something that you can't overmatch the bow, or they don't show you their broadside, you can't really HE spam in it because you only got 6 guns and only a 30% chance of starting a fire per shell, which isn't higher than normal battleship fire chances. Most battleships have about a 30 to 40% chance of starting a fire on their guns, and they have 9 guns. Most of them, at least. I'm talking like average-wise. Siegfried only has 6. So when you get into that situation, you're kind of stuck. You can try to start a fire. You can switch to HE and, pin his superstructure in his deck, sure. But at the end of the day, you won't be doing that much damage compared to if you were in the gear, with its 9 305mm guns, quicker reload, and better fire starting chance overall. So the gear for most players would be the better choice. But again, if you want the ship, if you're in love with it, it is a ship worth getting if you're in love with it. Because, there are some ships, they look good, and, you see all these videos of it on the internet of it doing these crazy things, but you get it and you find out that, yeah, it's a good ship, but, it's not really capable of doing that, often like it appears to be on YouTube, like the Yami. The Yami is the prime example of that. You'll see these videos all over YouTube of 400 and 500,000 damage games. Yami, sure, the ship is perfectly capable of doing that, but it won't do it every match. Every match, you'll cross 100,000 damage for sure, but you'll be getting a lot of overpins. You're not going to be dev striking people like you see in YouTube videos. But the Siegfried follows through with it. Its dispersion really is that good. That video you saw of it getting great dispersion the entire match wasn't just a fluke for that one video. It really is like that. So, if you have the time and you're willing to put the time in, I do think it's worth it. But for the average player, just get a gear. A lot cheaper for you via free XP or via money, and a lot more consistent performance. And that's my tip. The Siegfried's a good ship, but unless you're really just already on board with it, it may not be worth the grind. And again, a gear much more consistent in its performance, but I'm not crapping on Siegfried. It's a fantastic ship. And again, if you ever get to the point to where you do have all the ships that you want and you just want to get it, you know, of course, then it's worth it. But that's my opinion, at least. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hope you guys are having a great day. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 15,000 subs. I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Again, guys, hope you're having a great day, and I hope to catch you guys in the next one.